Ignacio, first of all, thank you for joining us today for this session inside this wonderful project, the Kipling Balance. It's an honor to have you as a guest today. We have known each other since many, many years ago. We have never worked in the same sector, but we have known each other since many years ago, and we have had many meetings in Madrid, in other cities, European cities. You have been the CEO of Iberdrola since the year 2001 and the chairman and CEO since 2006. It's impressive, the transformation of the company during all this period, and I am sure we will have later the opportunity to talk about it and to see what is more relevant for you about this transformation. We have asked you to select one or two sections of this wonderful poem, If, which is so inspiring. It's very difficult. I'm sure that when you were reading the poem, it was difficult for you to decide which one you were going to select. But I would like to start our conversation talking about the first section that you have selected regarding the poem. This section is, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too. So I would like to start this conversation asking you what does this section mean for you and why do you think it is relevant in life, in management, in business?
So thank you very much for having this opportunity. It's great to share all this with you, with all these students. So then when you are becoming as older as myself, it's always a pleasure to share what we have already learned across our life with others. We have already just in the beginning of their professional career. So I think I'm very glad to have this opportunity. So I think this poem, I try to remember the first time I heard about it was when I was, I think, in the second year of the university in the School of Engineers, I'm an electrical engineer with the Jesuit ICAI. And it was already a translation made by the father Jorge de la Cueva. Jorge de la Cueva was the uncle of Julio Iglesias. He makes a special translation for his nephew in the day of his baptism. So I think that is the first time I heard about. And what that means to me? So I think the first thing perhaps is that we are in life not for staying. We are in life for doing things. So, and doing things means that you have all time to try to be creative, to do things which has already beneficial for others. I think is something is very important is to have already self-sufficient, to be convinced of our capabilities, and to have courage. So nothing in life is easy. So for those things in life, everything is already done, is not already, at least in my experience, is not certain. So the life is crisis, 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 with a small period with no crisis. So I think we have to be ready to manage crisis anytime it happens. For that, you need to have faith in what you are doing. If you are not faith in what you are doing, you cannot transmit this your trust or your conviction to another ones. So the second thing is to try to make all the things in a manner will be measurable. So I think there are many people with nice words. There are not very many people with real facts. Perhaps because I'm an engineer, so engineer means we need to deliver, we need to touch something. But I think it's very important to make that one. And this poem is precisely transmitting this thing. I think you have to do things with a sense of justice, with a sense of solidarity, with and for that you need to require to work with, not to work alone, to be able to generate teams and to make the right selection of those what you are working for. That one. That's key. And that is precisely what I did in Iberdrola. And when I went to Iberdrola, I think, as you mentioned, many years ago, I think is when the company changed so much, not so many, because of great vision or great ideas. It's because the time is helping very much on that one. And I think when I joined the company in 2001, Iberdrola was a traditional utility. It was one more. I think it was a small one, only only with Spanish assets. So, we were generating and producing electricity as most everybody with coal and gas and oil, hydro, nuclear. And I think we, perhaps because my roots, I grew in a village, in a small village in the western part of Spain, in Salamanca, and always I was very close to the let's say, environment. And second, I think I read something about Kyoto. Kyoto has already happened 2 or 3 years before. And Kyoto gave to me something which was already very much in line with what I feel the things have to be done to protect the planet, to try to do things in a manner we will destroy as less as possible, producing and generating things which are already useful for the citizens. And we decided to make the things in a different way. We saw then the carbonization and the energy transition, far from being a problem, it was a great opportunity. And I think that's why we decided we present a plan to the board. It was a very difficult some of the decision I mentioned to you before. That's why I'm wearing the green tie all the time, because we decided to move from blue color to green color. So, and that was very difficult to be approved.
And that was, now when you look back, you think that movement is symbolic, but was very relevant?
I think the point, traditionally our color was blue because we have already hydroelectric. But I think they said, well, okay, we agree to invest already in renewables. They don't know very much what that means in terms of wind, etc., etc. We understand that the coal is not the future. So I think they were very, but when we touch their own, let's say, traditions. Yeah. In traditions is already certain logo and certain color, that was harder. But I think they agree on that one. But I think since that, we've transformed completely the company. We have already, just in this moment, our emission is almost, in some countries, at zero. In Britain, is zero. In the United States, is almost zero. In Brazil, is almost zero. In Spain, is less than 60 grams, 50 grams, something else. Toward more than 400 grams per kilowatt hour, which is our peers in Europe. And the company has already grew a lot in this manner. So means we saw that some thing can be changed in some way. But for that, we need to convince not only the board, that was the easiest part, even it was difficult, is to try to change the mentality of thousands of people who has been traditionally doing the things in a manner to move in another direction, even in some cases suffering because of the closure of certain, the shutdown of certain of the power plants.
Yes, I think you have touched many different points, and I would like later, but perhaps in a later moment in the conversation, because you were mentioning this big transformation and what does it mean in terms of culture and the culture of the company. But before moving to that, Ignacio, I would like to talk a little bit more about leadership. In this section of the poem, we are talking about self-confidence and at the same time being humble, being open to others having different opinions. And then when we think about leading a team and what are we looking for in the people working with us, leading other teams, being part of the team, what things do you think are more relevant for you when you think about the management team of the company? What are you looking for? How do you interact with them as the CEO of the company? How would you describe your leadership style and what you look for in the? I'm sure you are very demanding because you are very demanding with yourself. I know, because we have talked about this before, that you like very much what you think is a reference in life, the parable of talents. But what does this mean in terms of leading teams for you? I would like to talk a little bit.
So the first thing is to believe that the companies are not just the assets. So I think is to see, I used to say that the most important part of economical activity is the person, the human being. So I dedicate a lot of time to stay with people, to listen to people, to visit people. Probably I've been the CEO and the chairman of Iberdrola in our 120 years history that has already traveled more all around the different assets. I know probably better the certain of my management, our power plants. First, because I enjoy. I think it's not a sacrifice. I think when I'm fed up of being already just in the office looking paper balance sheet and things like those ones, I enjoy to go to spend a day with the employees of the power plant of Alcántara, to set one or to whatever, would I touch the reality.
Yeah, I cannot agree more, because for me, this has always been
that is very relaxing for me,
and it's also what you really enjoy.
But at the same time you listen a lot of things. What these people can already tell you in a very, let's say, open atmosphere. So I think the first thing. The second one is, as I said before, is to try to be convinced about something, to try to transmit your conviction. I think you cannot lead people if you are not convinced about what you are saying. So, and you are already, and you can lead the people if the people see that you are coherent, what you are saying, what you are doing. So when we say that we would like to fight against decarbonization, it's because we would like to fight against decarbonization. We are convinced about that one, not only because it's a good business, it's because we are convinced that that is good for the planet, is good for the people, is good for the company as well. But I think to transmit with full conviction that that is like that. The third one is to try to make the things with truth. I know that probably the work to work with truth is not already very much in fashion, but I think the truth is crucial. I think the people have to believe what you're saying that is the truth, and you are not lying anybody. And you respect the word what you are giving. Another thing which is really very important, we've already made very many deals during those years. All my life, I made very many. But always this shook hands, and that shook hands is forever.
I fully agree with that. So, I have personally said that also many times that, well, two things I would say. That you can never lie in life or in business. If you start lying, this is the end of everything. For me, that is...
you are Jesuit as well.
Yes,
so.
Yes, but
we are from the same.
Yes, but that is absolute. And the second thing is that, and this is very relevant also in every aspect of life, that there are things which are right and things which are wrong. That in an era of relativism, this is also something very, very relevant to have in mind. But sorry, go ahead, because I was asking you about your leadership
I think that
style.
Those are the main things, is to have clear ideas, to transmit these ideas, to put already a methodology for making that happen, and to measure the result, and to make the recognition, those ones which are making things correctly, and to say, sorry, you are not already being as good as you. It's not only to say positive, but as well to correct if somebody is not doing the things correctly. But I think the honesty in the analysis, the honesty in the, let's say, evaluation, and
you look for, when you think about your management team, when you think about the people around you, the qualities that you appreciate more are these qualities that you are mentioning.
Yeah. Certain effort. I think we put in our value very clear is effort, capability. So the people have to be learning for life. Honestly, team spirit, and loyalty.
Yeah.
I think those are the values which I think I showed to you before.
Yeah.
That is the chart we made 2001.
From 2001 with those
which
values.
Was blue still.
Yes, with these values. And about the parable of talents that I was mentioning.
Well, I think I think perhaps I link with the first words I mentioned. I think we are not here in life for staying. We are for doing. And doing means that's the parable of talents. So I think God gives us certain capabilities, and certain opportunities. And we have to live this work, not only delivering what we receive, but we have to pay some interest for that. So I think we have to create, we have to share, and we have to share even more than we have received.
Very good. And coming back to what I was saying before, Ignacio, we were talking, I was mentioning that later we are going to have the opportunity to talk a little bit about culture. In any company, in any organization, this is extremely relevant. It's also sometimes very challenging because for example, in your case, that you have grown in many different countries, you have acquired companies also in many different countries. How do you manage to have a single culture? Of course, diverse, because diversity is something that is very positive for every company and it enriches the company. But because when there is a company in which everything is organic growth, probably it's never easy not to keep the culture of the company when you grow, but it's less challenging than when you are combining acquisitions with organic growth in many different countries. And then, of course, for every company, it's very relevant to have a single culture, not a different culture in the different markets in which it has operations. So how are you dealing with that?
Perhaps because Iberdrola is the result of mergers.
Yes.
Iberdrola is a 120 years old company. It's the consequence of mergers, and mergers. So I think the last merger was Hidroeléctrica Española, was located in Madrid and Valencia, on the central east of Spain, and in the north and the west, which is Iberdrola. But before that was very many another mergers. So the culture of integration, of different mentalities, different behaviors, different technologies. So I think it's part of our culture. So what we did, so trying to apply the knowledge we have already learned during the last 100 years. And for that, we means traveling, talking with people, exchanging people. We have already a special integration team. They are moving there. And they are already taking British to Spain, Spanish to American, to mix all this one, to stay mixing each other and trying again and again to try to convince to the, let's say, newcomers, what is our vision, what is our target, what is our strategy, why that is our vision, why that is our strategy, what we are expecting for them, who is going to make what for when. So all those things, and that is, I think, for years, and I think I continue. Now it's much easier than before. For years, I was already just having meetings like those one with hundreds of thousands of employees from different areas of different countries.
Talking about the company, talking about the challenges, asking questions.
During 1 hour I speak, during another hour they speak, and they ask whatever they would like. I reply as much. Now it's much easier because instead of 100 or 500 people,
now it's telematic.
I can make telematic and meet already 10,000 or 15,000. But as well, they can make whatever question.
It is true that technology has, for every company, of course, technology has many implications all across our lives and business. But in terms of internal communication, it is an incredible tool. In terms of transmitting the company to all the employees inside the company, to have this type of, I have had many telematic meetings like this in which you can have 5,000 people at the same time and asking questions and everybody leaving it is unbelievable how helpful this has been. But I wanted to move back to something.
Yeah, but let me something on that one. Perhaps because I'm from the analog generation.
Yeah.
Because I'm the analog generation, we are using these digital tools, but
I
need to touch people.
Of course.
I need to touch people. I think when you touch people, I think the transmission of the things are absolutely different.
And also, when you touch people, not only in formal meetings, but also informally. I always have liked very much moving around and then without any agenda, meeting people and talking about different things. And another question about your leadership style. How do you see, how do you interact? Of course, probably it's a combination, no? But how do you interact most often with your teams? It's through formal meetings, many informal meetings. Are you very, I don't know how to say, do you respect very much the the organization of the company, the different levels, or you like to have the direct contact with the person who is really the responsible
I think
of
both things.
both things?
I think we have already very formal meetings every Monday morning with our operation committee,
Yeah.
in which we share the main issues of the group.
Yes.
And we, let's say, hear what happened in any part of the group, or we take decision which correspond to ourselves. Of course, we have the executive committee in the board meeting, but I think in terms of management, that is the formal meeting. Every Monday, everybody knows that whatever decision would need to be taken is taken. So I think that's...
And this one is very executive.
That is executives every Monday morning, 10:30, meeting of that one. So I think that, but also in very many informal.
Many informal.
I think I would respect the structure, of course. I think I distinguish the difference between dispatching and hearing. I think I like to listen for whatever would like to say me anything, and I ask the people. But another thing is the instructions are given through the line. So I think if we have to do something, so the boss have to say that one. I'm not saying to jump in the structure, no, but I hear that one, and we receive a lot of inputs for whatever levels in the company.
I always have made the distinction. I don't know if it is the best way to say this in English. Is, well, in Spanish we say puentear, so it would be jumping, you were saying, or bridging. I don't know what is the best word, but I have always made the distinction between healthy and unhealthy bridging or jumping. I have always practiced what I consider healthy jumping, and it is to respect who has to take the decision, but not to be always, it's very similar to what you were saying, hearing, but this is different than deciding something without the direct boss being involved. No, so it is.
No, also, I, in a moment, if there's somebody which I'm talking about whatever thing, and they're feeling that they need some kind of help or decision or whatever. Normally, I leave from there, I talk whatever, and I phone to his boss saying, well, you have to do this and this and this with this and this and this. But I try for all means to respect.
Yes, and I have had also, Ignacio, many times. Probably it has happened to you, a phone call that whenever it happened, I was liking it very much. And it is somebody calling me and telling me, Pablo, I am thinking to do this, but before doing it, I would like to know your opinion. This means for me that my opinion is valuable for this person, but that he knows that the decision belongs to him. So he is not asking me to take the decision. But when you receive this phone call, is that this is a call that I always have liked very much.
Not very many of those.
No,
not very many of those. I think you are already a lawyer and engineer, so you are more humanist on that one. We are more
yeah, so it's more fact-driven.
Yeah, that's it. No, but I think is first they know if they have to take a decision, they have to take a decision, but they're already away where the decision is taken. Which is operation committee, if it is something which is exceeding their powers. So that's why I think if somebody would like to take that one, that is different when you are visiting, and that might refer to that one, when you're in a visit, informal visit, whatever. So they are talking to you, they say to you, and we have to be very careful because in the conversation you can say things that can be interpreted by yourself that you have instructed something. And that's why when I think that one, if I feel that something like that it happened, I don't like that he used that saying the chairman has already told me that. And I phoned rapidly before that happened to his boss saying, be aware that,
Yeah, that is, I completely agree with you. And that is, there are many, these informal conversations, which are extremely useful and valuable, but at the same time, they have a risk. I completely agree with you. And there are many examples in history, not talking about companies, in which this type of informal conversations have led even to wars in history. So it is very, very delicate, this type of informal conversations, what to say, what not to say. But at the same time, inside a company, of course, it's completely essential. And how are you, Ignacio, when... I don't know how to say, when there is somebody inside your team that has taken a risk and it has been a significant mistake, how do you react to that?
So perhaps the first thing, I think you are already as well Jesuit background like myself. So I think I have saw my professor in the university. They told me that if you would like to lead a good organization, the mistakes are not the mistakes of your people, it's your mistakes.
Your mistakes.
Your mistakes. And your success are not your success, it's the success of our team. And I think when you are internalized such a behavior, so I think it's when somebody is making a mistake with good faith.
Yes.
So I think distinguish.
And not
Good
too
faith,
many, because if there are too many,
I
then
think,
it's another.
well, that is another thing. I think but I think if somebody makes something which I think is wrong. So, but he makes that with his best knowledge and with a good faith for making that in a positive thing for the company. So I use precisely the opposite. Don't worry, take care, go ahead, we will solve that one. And I put all the service of the company to help himself to minimize the effect of this decision. It's different if he's taking this decision because he would like to work less,
Yes.
because he's not studied properly, which is not really made the thing in a professional manner, or because he has some personal interest on that.
Yes,
one.
of course.
So
This would be a completely different situation.
I think that is a much harder treatment on that one. But I think that's normal. I think when you are making many things, sometimes
Yes.
it works fine, sometimes not.
I think this is key in every company to have this culture, because if not, nobody takes decisions. So if everybody is afraid.
I can tell you, for instance, probably in this moment, we have already 50 or 60 solar or wind power plant in construction. Probably a few of them, they are already make things wrong in the design, in the construction, in the estimate of wind or resource or whatever. Fine, well, but I think they had already done with the best thing. We cannot criticize. I think it's a basket in which at the end, the result is good, is fine.
Yeah,
I think not, you mentioned, if somebody is systematically making things wrong, in that case, probably the problem is my own, because I not already have nominated that one for this position.
Yeah.
So,
and at the same time, it's key to be very demanding, because in a company, this is, in my opinion, these are the type of difficult things to balance when you are leading an organization, because you need to combine being very demanding with, at the same time, what you were saying right now. If there is a mistake, it is our mistake. It is, but keeping this idea of being very demanding, because there are many companies in which you see that as soon as things start to relax, then this could mean the end for the company. You need to be very demanding, and so it's to combine these two things, which I think is very important.
Certain tension.
Yes, there's certain tension, which is key. I would like, Ignacio, now to move a little bit to a more global topic, which I think is very interesting for everybody, and in which Iberdrola has been a pioneer since many years ago, and it is everything related with energy transition, with climate change. This is a little bit different from what we are talking right now about leadership, about management. But I think it could be very interesting to hear your view. How do you think, as the world, do you think we are doing enough? Do you think we should be doing more? Do you think we are taking globally the right decisions? I know that inside this very general concept about taking the right decisions, I'm sure not everything is right in your opinion, but globally, do you think we are in the good path, thinking about climate change, energy transition?
Well, when 23 years ago, we started already generating green electricity, our colleagues said that we are our colleagues, investors, politicians, whatever, said we are crazy, that the wind never blow when it's needed. So that was the sentence used in one of our competitors' General Assembly. So Iberdrola is wrong because wind never blows when it's needed. Well, it's true. But it blows. It means it generates electricity, and during the time it generates electricity, it's not burning coal. So, which I think. But I think we had already suffered a situation during these years in which very many people were denying that the problem exists. I think we were pioneers trying to defend a green flag, saying that the thing have to be made in different manner, trying to convince investors, politicians, regulators, competitors. And I have to say that probably the citizens are more open-minded. I think we make already in this country in the 2003, 2004, a special tariff, green tariff for electricity, and citizens were ready, customers were ready to pay for it. But our competitors denounce ourselves, and the regulator stopped. Then we can continue already selling this because they say the electricity which flowing through the grid has no different colors, so which I think is not true because you are certifying the origin of that one. But I think these deniers, they move slowly. We're moving to, especially after Paris, COP of Paris, the COP 24 or 23. So, which I think the civil society who are pushing politicians, regulators, governments.
And now you think we are doing enough?
Well, I think they push, and very many people, they deny us who are diminishing. But in this moment appear what they call delays. Said, well, we are not denying, but we need time for that. We need time, delay. And now they are moving to another, let's say, cast or group of people which are not denying because it's impossible to deny that the problem exists. They are, I think they need already to say that they are ready to do things, so they are delaying as much as they can, but they are already applying a more intelligent approach, which is the greenwashing. We are doing things as well, our whatever is not making a reality, it's just nice words. So if you see, and I think that is the situation. Saying that, I think the Times is much better. So I think certain of our, let's say, enemies is becoming our competitors, so which I think that's great. So I think I prefer competitors than enemies. So we are not, we are doing the things at the enough speed. The answer is no. But I'm optimistic. I think it's the COP28 in Dubai. I was already there. I've been attending the different COPs in Copenhagen so many years ago. And I think everybody was thinking that it's going to be a disaster. And I think thanks, among others, of the leadership of the Sultan Al Jaber, which is the Minister of Energy of Dubai and the President of the oil company of Dubai as well. So it has already made certain good achievements. The fact 110 countries has already agreed to triple the investment in renewables up to 2030.
So you think we are in the right
we are in the right
direction,
not at the speed
but not
as
at
needed,
the speed.
But I think we are moving.
What I have seen, and you for sure, we have been together many years at the European Roundtable of Industrialists.
And I was fighting against our colleagues.
Yes, but what I have seen there from all these around a little bit more than 50 big European industrial companies, some of the biggest industrial companies in Europe. What I can say is that there is in general, very sincere commitment from companies to go in every sector. I'm not talking about energy companies, but in every sector, there is a strong conviction from every company.
Well, I think precisely that is what you're saying is absolutely true. I remember the first meetings in ERT, in the Energy Committee, led by initially oil company, afterward a cement company.
Yeah.
I think it was terrific fight on that one. And now all we, the 55 companies, we had already made a document supporting the Fit for 55 of the European Union, the decarbonization programs of the European Union, all we subscribe, all we support. Yes. So, which I think that's why I'm optimistic.
There is a strong conviction, and
I'm optimistic for that. I think the change in mind of the leaders of the main companies is changed,
Yes.
perhaps because of the social pressure, because of the environment, because of convention, because whatever. But that is
I
positive.
completely
Saying
agree.
that, we have to move faster.
Okay.
And we have to be coherent. Not always policies in the countries are coherent. Are saying something and do it opposite. I think electrification for decarbonization is the solution.
Yes.
It's not the problem. And I think sometimes those which are already trying to decarbonize or doing the best, investing for decarbonization, are penalized in favor of those which are just doing the opposite. So I think this, because you know, you knew very well as myself, by President Timmermans.
Yes.
So by President Timmermans, I remember one of those panels I was attending with him. He was saying that sometimes the times for businessmen are absolutely different than the times of policymakers. The policymakers or the government's timing is the next election. When is there going to be the next election? That's a long term. For us, it's the life of the asset. Perhaps that is already making that one. So we are taking decisions for long term, are seeing the way to change the thing. Sometimes those guys take the decision for tomorrow, so they are already more concerned about the tomorrow problem than for the long term problem.
And Ignacio, coming back now to a little bit more personal things and related with leadership, I would like to talk to you a little bit if there are any mentors, leaders that have had an influence in your life or who you have admired. For example, in my case, if I can share it with you, not only, but I tend to admire very much the founders, people who found things from zero. I could mention several of them. Well, there is one that I know quite well, who is Amancio Ortega, of course, or Howard Schultz, the founder of Starbucks, or I don't know, Steve Jobs, who I never met. The other two But of course, also CEOs that transform companies is something that you need a long tenure to transform a company. Is also something I admire very much. Do you have any mentors, leaders that have been relevant in your professional life, or that you admire, or that you have been, or not in the business, but leaders, world leaders that you have admired because of what they did?
So, well, perhaps on my times of the university, I had already a professor who was Padre Lequerica, was professor of electrotechnia, which he was quite old at that time. And I think, but he was very open-minded. And I think it's quite a close relation with him during this time. But after being retired, when he was retired, and I was already just teaching in the school, I was professor of strength of material in the UK. I saw himself just with a piece of paper of computing. Somebody with 80-something said, Father Lequerica, where do you go with that? Said, well, you cannot expect an engineer in this time will not already have big knowledge enough of computing. So I think this open mind,
yes.
This open mind of somebody which you have to be learning of your life, he just has already put influence in myself. I think this spirit of learning and learning. And the second, I think I have two persons. One, who was in my first job, who was Antonio Sá de Montagut. He was the chairman of Tudor, the company what I started work for, which I think he was as well engineer of ICAI. And I was his young engineer, so he was treated like his son, which showed to me a lot of things, how to manage the business and how to manage the life in many things. And the third one is recently died, José Ignacio Berrueta. He was the chairman of the president of BBK, the bank, not the saving bank of the country Basque. He was already a pioneer. He was the mayor of different saving banks. And he has been with me in the board. He was in the board of Iberdrola before I joined in Iberdrola. He was.
These are people that have had a strong influence on you.
Really, all these three has already treated in different manners. So one criticizing, the last one, another one showing, and the first one giving me already ideas about the future.
And about your personal habits, Ignacio, how is a normal day in your life? You wake up very early, you exercise or not, you have plenty of meetings during the day. I know you are traveling probably 40 or 50% of your time, so it's very difficult to say what is a normal day in your life. Do you take time just to think? It was Bill Gates who was saying about this thinking week, to take 1 week to think, which I think is impossible. But how is your...
So I think I work hard.
I know you like to walk because we have met
Yes,
sometimes in the past.
I work hard.
Yeah.
So I think I have not to say those which says that my journey finished at that time. My
No.
journey finished when it finished. I work very many hours, included. I try to respect one day in the weekends, which I said today is nothing to do, but Sundays I stay working the whole day.
Well, I in my case is the same. I have never worked on Saturdays, only if there is something, I don't know.
Yeah.
But Sundays I have,
Yeah.
during my whole life, preparing
I
the week. And
I think my chief of staff suffer myself
Yes.
because I'm
No,
not
but you
ready
have
for
the
it.
feeling on Monday that you are ahead of events.
Yeah,
If you
yeah,
have been working
yeah,
on Sunday.
Yeah. And thinking, I think, well, when you are at the head of a company, your brain have to be working 24 hours a day. So 7 days a week. So you are all time on that one. When I need already to take hard decisions, sometimes you need to take hard decisions. Normally, perhaps of the years I've been living in Germany, so makes that I need to pass a night.
Yes.
So, and in some cases, even I need to consult with my horse. So one of my hobbies is riding horses in my property, in my ranch. So I have some horses and I go there. I just take a horse and because you can already, you are not looking where you're walking. So I think
And
the
it
horse,
is much better to take decisions in the morning than at night. I think this
I need
is...
open space to
Yes,
take decision.
I
I
need-
cannot take decision. It just, I need to
And
open
you
space.
sleep well. You know,
Oh yes, very well.
Yeah, that's
Too well.
key.
I'm jealous, my wife is jealous of me.
No, that's key.
Saying you're horrible.
I think that's key, to sleep well and to really rest, and then to... And you exercise a lot, Ignacio? Or...
So if I can, I walk.
Yeah.
And during weekends, I ride horses or like my bike. I like very much bike as well. And that's it. So and recently I'm already just trying to go for Pilates.
Yes.
And I pay already fees, but I'm not going.
is great. Eh? I
Yeah,
can
it's
recommend
great.
Pilates to you.
Yeah, but
It's
I
great.
never had time.
I was going to say it's an essential part of my life. Pilates since 10 years ago.
I think my secretary is convincing me. So, but I think I try to go.
But the only possibility is at home, early in the morning, in your home.
But I don't stay at home. So I'm traveling now a bit less, but I've been trying for 150, 170 days a year. It's impossible.
And Ignacio, I would like, we could stay talking and talking for hours, but I would like, before concluding this conversation, as far as we are here at IE University with lots of students, I would like to ask you for an advice that you would have liked to be given to you, or perhaps that it was even given to you when you were a university student. What advice would you, what would you say to young students about their lives, their professional lives? What would be your advice to young students?
The first is hard work. Nobody is going to give them nothing for free. They need to gain whatever they achieve. So work hard. The second is to have faith in themselves, to keep all across their life. They can already work in different places with different technologies, different areas, etc. But they have to keep certain values. So the values of the truth, the values of the sense of justice, the values of learn from mistakes, to be already loyalty. So this one. And the third one is that they have to be innovative. So I think that one which this fatherly caricatures me to me, that the university is the first step. But I think is they learn we learn enough in the university for continue learning. So I think if some things then because they just got just a degree or the master or whatever, that the life is done, they are absolutely wrong. I think that is the first day to start learning for being able to start producing and to start to creating, etc., etc., etc. But nothing is going to be given to them by free. Hard work, working with another one, sharing to create things and to share with another one with whatever they are already been receiving.
So thank you very much, Ignacio. It has been an honor and a great pleasure to have you with us today. Thank you very much, Ignacio.